Have you been struggling in Street Fighter to improve and reach those higher ranks you've always wanted to achieve? In this video, I will give you tips for each rank to get out of said rank and on to the next. Each rank requires a new set of skills to be learned and applied in order to improve as a player. My number one tip is to not worry about rank, but rather improve your skills as a fighting game player. The ranks will come with time. If you doubt my skills, I currently have 5 characters at master rank. I hope this advice heeds you well. Now let's get on with the video. I'm going to start off with the gold ranks, assuming you have at least a little bit of fighting game knowledge and skills. If you're around this rank, I'm assuming you can at least land your combos and do damage. The skills you need to have in gold to get out is getting your anti-airs on point. Gold and platinum will have a ton of players that will like to jump, and it's your job to stop them from getting a hit or free pressure on you. Practice landing your anti-airs in training mode to the point where you don't have to think about it, then apply it to real matches. You won't get it right away, but give it a few. You also should be throwing your opponent more. I notice in these ranks the opponents like to just strike more than throw. Fighting games are rock, paper, scissors, so you should be mixing up your options frequently. Having tick throws in your arsenal are also good. Simply do a jab, then throw your opponent. In Platinum and Diamond, we'll learn what the shimmy is if your opponent starts teching your meaty throws and tick throws. Dealing with drive impact is another skill I forgot to mention, but I'm going to mention now. A lot of players complain about the mechanic. It's a very slow attack that is 26 frame startup. It's a good mechanic at stealing rounds and even games, but it has counterplay. Congratulations, you've hit platinum. I'm now assuming you have your anti-airs on point and you're mixing up your options on your opponent's knockdown. We will now be learning how to have a solid ground game, the shimmy, okizeme, and parrying. It's important to pay attention to your opponent's defensive options when applying pressure to them. If they start teching your throws, you can now set up the shimmy. After a knockdown that gives you advantage, simply micro-walk towards your opponent, then walk back slightly, but enough to where you're out of throw range. Then be prepared to react and heavily punish your opponent for trying to tech. If they start teching your tick throws, do the same thing. Simply jab, then walk back baiting out their tech, then punish. Practice this in training mode to get the muscle memory down, then take it into a real match. Next up is Oki. Learning what you can do on your opponent's knockdown is very important. There's plenty of okizeme guides out there for each character, but let's fully understand what Oki is. Oki is the art of keeping up pressure after your opponent's knockdown, or baiting out reversals. Certain sequences can leave you very advantageous. For example, after Ryu lands a heavy punch DP, he can drive rush into immediate standing heavy punch. This is auto-timed, meaning the hitbox is stuck out long enough to where the last active frame or two will hit the opponent, leaving Ryu at even more advantage than if he manually timed the meaty. Doing empty drive rush into blocking will bait out reversals. Learn your character's okizeme and get the muscle memory down in training mode. Now is the time I say you should learn how to perfect parry. Characters like Honda and Blanca, and even Shoto such as Ryu and Ken, are characters you should all be perfect parrying. Except Gief. Don't ever try to parry him. Perfect parrying projectiles gives you 0 recovery, allowing you to cancel into a fast projectile, special, or drive rush. Sometimes this can lead to a combo. Parrying is an essential skill to Street Fighter 6. It's a mechanic that can literally change the tide of the fight. One bad habit I notice people do with perfect parrying, however, is trying to perfect parry jump-ins. Don't do this, as your opponent can bait this and throw you for even more damage. You should be anti-airing appropriately. If you notice your opponent perfect parrying your jump-ins, empty jump, then throw them. You get a damage boost off punish counter throws when players try to parry. You're almost a master. Good job. Now the next thing you're going to want to learn here is minimizing your mistakes. Don't mash on wake up or during pressure. Learn to read your opponent's habits. Do they drive impact a lot? Do they throw a lot? Do they mash on wake up? Do they reversal on wake up? All these decisions and reads account to your mistakes. Matchup knowledge is also a big factor at this rank. You should know what moves are punishable and what's safe, as well as which moves are reactable to perfect parry. Capitalizing on your opponent's mistakes is how you win matches, and getting them to fall for mistakes is just as crucial. Having good spacing and defense are also very important skills to have around this rank. Learn the ranges at which your opponent's normals connect and whiff. Practice whiff punishing them with a normal into a buffered special or drive rush. Don't go flailing trying to land a hit on your opponent. Analyze your opponent's movement and when they like to press buttons. Before I close this out, I just want to make a small analogy when it comes to building different skill sets in fighting games, or really anything in life. Remember the Lincoln logs you used to play with as a kid? Well, think of each log as a skill, and each row ascending is a new rank. Focus on one or two skills at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. There's a lot to account for when trying to improve these skill sets as a player, but take it a day at a time. Baby steps, and you'll notice yourself start to improve. Don't overthink things and take accountability for your mistakes. Watch your replays and look for mistakes you are making. I want you to come back to this video in say a month's time and let me know your progress. If you found this video helpful, consider leaving a like and subscribe for more fighting game tips and guides. This is Darkson signing out, and I hope you take care.